It's time now for perspective. Loyalists in Northern Ireland have vowed to escalate protests against the Northern Irish Protocol during traditional summer protest season. Since Brexit, many unionists feel they're being cut off from the rest of the United Kingdom. The main unionist party, the DUP, says they're right to be angry. Its new leader, Edwin Poots, says Northern Ireland is being used as a plaything by the European Union and that Brussels is harming every individual that lives there. Now, that's an accusation that the EU hotly rejects. Northern Protestants on Shifting Ground is the title of a new book by award-winning journalist Susan McKay, who joins us now to give us her view on the situation in Northern Ireland. Thank you so much for being with us on France 24 today. Now, your book, if I understand correctly, consists of 100 interviews with Protestants in Northern Ireland. Could you please start by giving us a flavour of what people have been telling you when it comes to how they see Northern Ireland today and where they hope it's headed?
Well, I should start by saying that the story which you've told, which is the story emanating from the DUP, the leading party, isn't one that I found to be true. I found that the majority of Protestant people that I spoke to were quite calm about Northern Ireland. They weren't angry about the protocol. In fact, the protocol, which is the part of the Brexit agreement, which has really stirred up a lot of this trouble. A lot of business people are saying, well, look, we didn't want Brexit. 58% of people in Northern Ireland voted to remain in the European Union. But the DUP insisted upon it and insisted upon a very hard form of Brexit. And that is what has left us in this difficult situation. But the view that the DUP is putting out is that there is this generation of furious, raging, young unionist people who are not going to stand for this situation and are going to fight. And I didn't really find there to be any evidence of that at all. And there hasn't been any evidence in recent weeks. We had a few minor riots in April, which very quickly petered out because there just wasn't the communal energy to keep them going. So what I found was people are enjoying the peace. A lot of people want to remain within the union with the United Kingdom, but they aren't happy with the current unionist leadership. For example, a lot of people in Northern Ireland have become much more socially progressive. They support a woman's right to choose abortion. They support same-sex marriage. And these are things which the Democratic Unionist Party vehemently opposes on religious grounds. So in some ways, the DUP is panicking, I think, because they see that they no longer have a majority in the government within Northern Ireland. A recent opinion poll showed them considerably behind the Republican Party, Sinn Féin, and it's quite likely that Sinn Féin will take the first ministry at the next election here, which will be possibly next year. And then you've also got the fact that the Protestant community is now in a minority. There will be a census results come out this year, which will show that it's become significantly more a minority. So in some ways, this is to do with the fact that the Democratic Unionist Party is facing into an election in which it feels it is probably going to do quite badly.
And do you think the DUP is losing touch with its base, or are there still people who are staunchly pro this more conservative stance of the DUP in Northern Ireland?
People vote along sectarian lines largely in Northern Ireland. Well, 50% of the people don't vote at all, which should worry any of the democratic parties. But yes, what's happening is that more and more people are going towards the Alliance Party, which is a sort of in-between party, which is neither for the Union nor for United Ireland. But the DUP is definitely afraid that it is losing voters to a more hardline small unionist party and also to other parties.
And meanwhile, of course, the main Republican Party, Sinn Féin, is pushing for another referendum on the reunification of the island of Ireland. If there was a referendum on a united Ireland, how do you think that would be received?
Well, at the moment, the polls are showing that it would be lost. But I think that there is a growing momentum towards it as it becomes apparent that the unionist parties are falling apart. I mean, this is the centenary of the foundation of the Northern Irish state. There were supposed to be celebrations, instead of which the Democratic Unionist Party has just sort of gone to war with itself. It's just ousted its leader of the past number of years, Arlene Foster, and appointed someone who is quite unpopular in the party, a man called Edwin Poots, who's a very fundamentalist Christian. But most of the people that I spoke to when I was writing my book on Shifting Ground were not all that uncomfortable about the notion of a border poll, because they are democratic. They've seen the benefits of the peace which we got in 1998 with the Good Friday Agreement. And quite a few people said to me, well, I'd rather stay within the United Kingdom, but if a majority vote for a United Ireland, I could live with that. And I think that's much more in keeping with the actual mood of the people. There really isn't. I think the DUP is very much hyping up this notion that we really need to be very, very cautious and not have a border poll because of this anger among young unionists. And my sense among young unionists is that they are not angry in that way. They're angry about other things like poverty and lack of rights and all kinds of social issues like that. But Northern Ireland has really changed. One of the main things that I saw was that a lot of younger people don't actually identify according to their religion at all anymore. They don't even know whether their friends are Catholic or Protestant. And as I say, many of them are now voting for progressive parties that don't actually define themselves according to whether we're united with the United Kingdom or with the rest of Ireland.
Susan McKay, fascinating stuff. I'm sure we could continue for a lot longer, but we have run out of time. Susan McKay, award-winning journalist, commentator and author of Northern Protestants on Shifting Ground. Thank you very much for speaking to us here on France 24 today.